So happy day, warriors, and welcome to another week with me, certified life coach, life and wellness coach, Susie Barolo, and mom and active lady. And just happy that it's spring and happy that you're all choosing to spend your time listening to this right now. Today, we'll be discussing 3 steps you can take to stop being a people pleaser. Even if you're not a full-time people pleaser, just a part-time people pleaser will not help you. And the more you can give up some of the habits of people pleasing, the better you will show up in your life and the better you'll feel, for sure. As a recovering people pleaser, I am well aware of the hazards and stresses of living my life like a people pleaser and putting what other people think about me ahead of me or other people's needs in front of me. I no longer do this, but I did do it for probably a good 38.2 years of my life, and I am happy to say that I'm done with it, but I'm done with it for the most part. I still catch myself because anything that you've done for a long time are sort of like these embedded habits, and it's nice to know and to go back sometimes if you're not feeling good to be like, what's going on there, Susie? And it's like, oh, I see. I put them before me. That's interesting. So it's not about turning into a bitch. It's about turning into the best version of yourself, and it's showing up as an adult. And I'll get more into that later. But it's really a wonderful way of standing up for yourself and living your life in alignment with why you're here. Like anything, it all starts with awareness and just starting to be aware of your habits and your tendencies, and that's a great step. People-pleasing habits and tendencies tend to run deep. They usually come to us from our biological family, or I guess not your biological necessarily, whichever family you were raised by. And it's important to have patience with yourself as you're trying to change any old behaviors, but also to know that you can start today to make shifts and see significant benefits in your life, which is why I love what I do. So I am grateful that you're here and you're interested in digging into this topic, because the more we all show up as ourselves, the better the world is. We are here on this earth for a purpose, and the more that we dig into sort of what we enjoy and the pieces that bring us joy in life, that's the universe telling us, like, hey, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So let's go in there. Let's do it. Quick recap, if you're trying to figure out if you are a people pleaser, here are some questions you can answer that might help you out. Do you say yes when you mean no to people? Do you go along with a group to avoid conflict? Do you feel responsible for how other people feel? Do you maybe say yes to things because you're like, oh, then my mother-in-law will think I'm really nice, or oh yes, I'm gonna say yes to that group because then they'll know that I'm whatever. So do you try to take responsibility for other people's feelings? Do you apologize often? Do you often apologize for who you are and what you think? When someone is upset with you, do you try to make it right, even if that means that you go back and change your values, go against what you stand for so that the other person can feel comfortable? And do you tell people when you're disappointed in them or their actions? Do you stick up for yourself or your ideas? Those are all signs of people pleasing, and as I said, they're wide ranging, and so you may have pieces of those in different areas of your life. Maybe you're all good at work, but at home you're more like that with your in-laws or your relatives or your husband or your adult children. Or maybe you're good at it with home, but you're not so good at work, or you're not so good with friends, and it's just important to recognize that those behaviors are harmful for us and they're harmful for the relationships we're in. When we show up as a half version of ourselves, we're only able to half show up. Our relationships are disconnected because they are. Like, you can't fully connect if you're only showing half of yourself and you're giving a sort of untrue version of yourself to this world. You'll feel flatlined in life. You'll feel very blah, like, is this all it is? Well, yeah, it is when you're only showing half of yourself. So when we're people pleasing, we're lying to everyone, even ourselves. And sure, it isn't a malicious lie. You aren't intentionally trying to, be this evil person. It stems from a lack of self-esteem, a lack of it, but it does not serve anyone and it doesn't serve you. What kind of message are you sending to yourself if you're constantly lying to yourself and to others? Okay, it's really not helpful to just show up as this half version. The relationships that you form are not based on truth or authenticity, and it just ends up being this sort of facade of a relationship, and you feel hollow inside because you feel like no one really knows you. And no one really does know you, but that's because you haven't shown the real self. And that's something that, if you're feeling like that, get in touch with me or another coach, because we can really help you sort of shift things that you can see yourself for the awesomeness that you are. But that's where it stems from. You're telling yourself that your opinion doesn't matter, that the other person's needs come before yours, and that their opinion of you is the truth. This is, as I said, this is toxic. As I said, this comes from your past beliefs, maybe that you need other people's love to fit in, a belief that what other people think of you is true, a belief that we are lovable only if others tell us we are. It comes from us looking externally rather than internally. We're looking out. Maybe we've been told when we were young that if you get an A, you're great, versus like, hey, did you try hard? That it stems from all of that. People-pleasing behaviors are toxic. I think I've said that 3 times. I'm sorry. Go back and edit that in the written version. But it's in our blood, and I just want you to be patient as you make these movements to change. Entire books have been written on the subject, and I will not begin to address all the issues with people-pleasing and self-confidence and esteem in this blog, but I do want to give you 3 simple ways that you can start to live a life that you want to live, not a life that someone else thinks that you should, okay? The first one I'm going to give you is called an awareness log. Begin to be aware of when you're acting in a way to make someone else think a certain way about you, or when you're doing something specifically to gain someone else's approval. You can either write it down or you can keep the log in your head. Something like, I said yes to Kara when she asked if I could make cupcakes. Or, I told Susie I'd go to breakfast with her Saturday even though I'd rather stay in my PJs and hang out with my kids. Just little awareness is the first step to changing behavior. Pay attention when you say things like, I don't know, or I don't care. This is all about allowing yourself to care, allowing yourself to know, allowing yourself to share your opinions and your thoughts, allowing yourself to be you. You're pretty frigging awesome. And the more you dig into that, the less you say, I don't know, or I don't care, the more you're showing your real self. For now, just start noticing these things. Just start like a little flash going off in your brain, like, oh, there I go again. That's interesting. You don't need to change your actions. Start noticing when, where, and with who you start to choose to put others' needs before your own. Okay. The second thing you can do is start small. Practice speaking up in minor ways. For example, when you're with your best friend and she asks where you want to go to lunch, tell her. Gasp. Okay, what if she's like, I want to go to Joe's Pizza, and you were like, I really want to go to Sweet Leaf. Say something. Try it. She loves you. She's a safe audience. Try it. When you read about a new local place to visit, tell your spouse and put it on the calendar. Wow. And yes, that nervous feeling you get when you're even just thinking about doing these things, that's a sign you're on the right path. Yay, you. I know it's not comfortable, that these feelings can be difficult, but you're strengthening the I matter muscle, okay? Because you do matter. So you need to strengthen that muscle. When we work out a new muscle at the gym, remember, you experience discomfort. That doesn't mean something's gone wrong. Rather, it means you're getting stronger. And that's exactly what's happening to you here internally. You're getting stronger. So start small. Speak up. What do you want for dinner? What do you want to do in the morning? Women are often great givers, but not so great at receiving. Start receiving. I'm here to tell you you're 100% abso-freaking-lutely worth it. Approaching life in a different manner is uncomfortable, but is exactly what we need to learn how to grow. Okay, so you can have your awareness journal and you can start small. The third thing I'd love you to do is what I call mirror work. Yep, it's exactly as it sounds. Go stand in front of a mirror in a private place, not like in the middle of your house, because I am quite sure, well, I know for certain you'll get laughed at. I've gotten laughed at by my kids and they've seen me do some pretty weird self-growth things. So go in your bathroom, close the door, stand in front of the mirror and practice sticking up for yourself. Expect this to feel uncomfortable, but know that's all the more reason to do it. Like I said, when you're strengthening the I matter muscle. Expect your brain to tell you that it's dumb and that you don't need to practice, and that you certainly don't need to practice in front of a mirror. Choose to disagree with that brain, okay? Do me a favor. If you want life to be different, you need to be different in your life. Mirror work will make you more comfortable when you're trying to do these uncomfortable things in person. So try it. What's the worst that can happen? You look silly in the mirror in the bathroom by yourself. That's fine. I'm sure you often do silly faces in the mirror anyhow. So just go. No one's going to know. It's not filmed, I promise. Practice saying no in front of the mirror. Practice speaking up for yourself in front of the mirror. Here are some things you can practice saying in front of the mirror. Practice saying, "Thanks for thinking of me, but I have to say no." Or, "I have to pass on this one." "No, that's a family night for me." Or one of my favorites, "That won't work for me." Or if you're having a hard time, like if the person's really pushing it, one that I also love is, "I'll get back to you." Sort of not pressure to respond in that exact moment, but you can get back to them. Other things, "Actually, I'd rather go to fill in the blank for lunch or for dinner." "I'd rather not. That makes me uncomfortable." "I would rather." Try it. When learning how to say no, keep it brief. Avoid apologies. Avoid saying, "I'm sorry, but my," whatever. Just no apologies. Keep it brief. And be truthful. Avoid lying, I was going to say. So saying like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my great Aunt Betty from Nicaragua is coming in with her pet goat," and no, just freaking say, "That won't work for me," or "It's a family night," or "You know what, I was really looking forward to a day with nothing planned." All right, try it. There you have it. 3 ways to get started today. Let's go, warriors. Let's spend your energy being you instead of spending your energy being that person that other people want you to be. When you're showing up as your true self, not only do you benefit your mental and your physical health, but the people around you also benefit. The better you care for yourself, the better you show up in this world. I want a bumper sticker with that. Someone please, the better you care for yourself, the better you show up in this world. This is what loving your life is all about. Even when you have bad days, if you're living in alignment with who you are and what you want, they're not bad, they're good. You're content. You have an underlying level of contentness. Living your life on your terms. Your dreams, your desires, and your needs are given to you as signs of how you're supposed to show up in this world. If we're constantly ignoring our desires and our needs, it's like we're giving the universe a middle finger. It's like saying, "Yeah, I know that was your plan for me, but I'm going to twist myself into this fake version of myself so that Louise over there is happy, and I'm sorry that you had other plans for me." Seriously? Let's stop. Okay? If you're ready to start this journey, take one small step this week. Try one of the 3 things above and let me know how it goes. I'm here by your side. I have walked this path. I am on the other side. I let other people be wrong about me. I let other people think what they want to about me. I say no when I want to say no, and that opens me up to say yes to the fun things that I'm here for and the things that I really love. Let's go, warriors. I believe in you, and I'm here for you. See you next week.